music going, Judy. She doesn't vibe like that or dance like that when we're not live. There you go. Okay, everybody. This is the last month of the year, and we are excited to talk about some fun topics. And we're going to do 2 parts on our favorite author tools. So we're going to talk about technology, gadgets, subscriptions, software, like all of those things in this one. And then next week, we're going to talk about the really fun one, which is like stationery and pens and like all that sort of stuff. So I hope you guys will tune in, just because sometimes there might be something that you've been curious about and haven't tried it yet, or some new product, or you're trying to decide between like 2 that are similar. So we're going to just try and give you a little bit of a review or recommendations today. But first, we got to hear what everybody's up to. And Judy's like all peppy today, so let's start with Judy.
I'm standing so I can move around, so that's great. Okay, so for me, what have I been doing? I've been working on my book. I'm halfway through it, which is fun. And I'm hoping to finish it by the end of the year. And I scheduled my editor, so hopefully I will be done. And then I've also been making lots of TikTok videos, and that's been fun too. I get to act like a dork and whatever, so it's fun.
It's always fun being a dork. How about you, Anne-Marie?
Well, I'm here to normalize existential crises, because that's kind of what I'm going through right now. I'm just struggling with life. So my family and I just got over COVID. It was like a 2-week-long process. And finally feeling good, finally decorating. Don't please ignore my wall up here. As you can see, I only painted to part of the ceiling. That's kind of like a representation of my life. Like I do it halfway, and then it's like, well, I'm too short, so I can't reach it. And I'm terrified of heights. So that's what you'll see there. But I did release a book today, which is exciting.
Oh.
Yay. But rule number 7 just released. It has been up on Kindle Vella for the last couple of months. But I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I keep thinking and trying to figure things out and getting swayed by different things and people. And so if you're having existential crisis with your career or writing, know that I am here for you, and we will get through this together, because it's hard. Like, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, I also am halfway through my Magnolia Christmas book, which I was able to push out 1 more time. So it's not just 30 days. You go 30 days, and then you can do another 30 days to push your pre-order out, which I did not know. I was literally crying to the poor Amazon guy on the phone, being like, I have COVID, I'm sick, I can't write. And he was like, oh, just go and change it. So know that that's a possibility.
So you can change it yourself?
And you just it like the first one will let you do 30 days, and then it will let you do 30 days another time. So you can push it actually 60 days for 60 days. So and then after that, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I have 1 book up for pre-order, and I don't know. Life is crazy right now. I need to like focus, and I don't know how. So that's where I'm at right now.
We're here for you.
Yes.
We'll figure it out. Before the Goals podcast, even. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah, no, I think I need to. But here's like, I was thinking yesterday, I was like, I just want to turn off all my ads, and I just want to like bury myself somewhere that's not here. And then I was like, well, that's not going to solve any of my problems, because I'm just going to wake up or get out of this, and I'm going to have to start all over again. So yesterday I was like, just sit down and do what you know with Amazon ads and get something going. Like, I used to be such a huge pusher on the new release day. Like, I would have ads and go crazy. It's like, I'm scared to do that now. It's like, it's weird. You wouldn't think that after experience you'd be scared. But I was telling these ladies, like, I just feel like I've been so like influenced by other people being like, oh, you're spending way too much money on advertising, or you shouldn't do that type of advertising. You should do, like, I just get, and now I'm so confused. I don't even know who I am anymore, or what my goals are, my plans, or what I want from everything. And I have 1 million books, and I'm like, it shouldn't be this hard. By book 50, it shouldn't be this hard. And I don't even know how many books I have. Sorry, this is not a therapy session for Amy.
Because whatever you're going through, there are people listening that are going through it too.
There are people going through it.
It's not a straight line up. Your income's never going to be a straight line up. How you feel about yourself as an author is never going to be a straight line up. It's a bumpy ride. So anyways, I'm here for it. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing. Like Michelle said, there's no job that I could go into and make what I do and have the freedoms that I do. It's just, I think we just battle, you know, in our brains. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is hard. All right, Victorine, how about you?
All right, I'm writing a reader magnet, a brand new one for a promo I'm doing. It's kind of secret, so shh, don't tell anybody. And I am writing on, well, I'm thinking about my angel story as I'm trying to get my reader magnet done. It's hard for me to work on more than one project at once. So when I said I'm working on 3 at once, I'm really not. I'm working on 1 at once and wishing I were working on the other ones. And I also am trying something brand new. I put a bunch of my audiobooks up on YouTube and trying to get that monetized and going. And it's starting to take off and I'm getting kind of excited about it. So that's an experiment. I have no idea, you know, like when all is said and done, if it'll be like a great moneymaker or oops, I just wasted them or what, I don't know. But it's an experiment and it's getting me more visibility and I think it's getting me more book sales too, because I feel like my book sales are up the past couple days, even though Amazon's been wonky. So I don't know.
Good. Are you uploading them all, like one book is in one video or is each chapter a video?
1 book per video. I tried the chapter thing. That was when I first started out and it didn't take off. So I pulled the chapters down and put up the whole book. So I'm just trying it out, 1 book each video and seeing. Now, in the future, when I'm all done with all the audios that I have, in the future, I may be like, ooh, I'm writing a new book. Let me read you a chapter or something and see if that does well too.
Oh, cool.
It's always fun trying out new things. And it's also fun watching your friends try out new things.
Yeah, exactly. You try it and then tell me if it's good or not.
Yeah.
Exactly. For me, I am also kind of recovering like from the COVID thing. I never tested positive, but I was sick and still tired. But my family all had it and it just threw us all for a loop over Thanksgiving. But the tricky part about that was mostly that I'm doing 3 different Kindle Vella stories, which I'm writing as I go at this point. And so being down for a while was a problem. Yeah. So I didn't get any episodes out in any story for a whole week. And then the next week I got 1 and 2 stories at the very end of the week. But I'm almost back on schedule now. And it was frustrating because I've recently learned that a big part of the bonus formula for Kindle Vella is figured by how often you update. And so it's one of the metrics. And so I was like, great, I just hurt my bonus for sure.
How did you find that out?
Just trolling every Vella group ever. And everybody is trying to figure out the formula. They're taking all the metrics that they can figure out for 1 month and what they made, and all the metrics for the next month and what they made. And then some people even have spreadsheets where they're sharing data. So, and there's, so many people are trying to figure it out, but there is it's starting to emerge this whole concept that one of the factors is how often you update. And it's not necessarily like the best factor or the only factor, where like downloading a whole novel at once won't get you like a huge bonus for the month in and of itself. But in fact, I think they probably reward weekly consistent uploads more than mass uploads, if that makes sense.
I think they would. That just makes sense that they would, right?
So I think that they really like the stories that are ongoing over time and consistently providing content.
So when you finish a book, you're basically giving up your bonus after that.
Well, it's going to decrease significantly, I think over time, for a lot of reasons, not just because of the upload quotient, but because of your faves are going to go down, because faves are driven by people liking your book that week, right? Once you're not releasing on a weekly basis and people are reading a complete story, they're going to binge it, which means every new reader that comes to your story after it's complete, they're going to binge it really quickly. So you might get one fave out of them, maybe two, right? And then they're not going to contribute to your story's visibility. It's one of the quirks about Vella that authors aren't loving compared to other story platforms. Like a lot of platforms have its own functionality for completed stories that gives completed stories visibility, and Vella doesn't have that. So it's kind of a detrimental thing on Vella to have a completed story in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I've been doing is trying to keep up with Kindle Vella. I haven't been publishing my Christmas box set, and it's now the 9th. I've pretty much just gone to that one. Not going to happen for me this year. Even if I get it up, I won't have time to really promo it or advertise it or get it selling very well. I might still do it. But yeah, I'm not doing well at anything right now. Except
I'm so sorry.
It's okay because I'm excited for a fresh start.
So Laura wants to know if we've heard any news on when Kindle Vella might come to the UK.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
Either.
They're closed-lipped on it.
Yeah.
I think it'll go to Canada first.
Yeah.
I suspect. And then probably roll out to other English-speaking countries quickly after that. But yeah, I don't know. So Christina says Vellum is going to lead to authors burnout. It might. You really have to know yourself. It's actually helping my burnout. I'm making it sound like it was a big deal trying desperately to write all these episodes, but it's because I was sick and I was behind. I would be having to try to make myself write anyway. The episodes keep me energized and it gives me very strong rewards, which I need.
Yes, me too.
To be able to publish, be excited about that and get feedback and likes and all this sort of stuff. I really like that. And also it helps me to sort of work in smaller doses every day. So before my writing day, I felt like if I don't get 5,000 words written today, the day was a loss, right? I am no longer measuring my days in word count. I'm measuring my days in did I finish my episode. So I have my schedule to where I basically try to write an episode a day, and then I'm golden. And an episode for me is like 1,500 to 2,000 words. And if I have extra time and I get a little bit ahead for the next day, all the better. But it's less stressful for me to feel like I just have to write 1,500 words today instead of every day waking up feeling like, man, I should really try and get 5,000 words or 7,000 words. So, yeah. It's working.
Yeah, my goal is always 1,500 words a day. If I can do that, then I'm winning. So.
Yep. Episodes sound like more fun to me than word count, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. I could talk about Vel all day long, but let's do a topic for the day. Okay, because we don't want to spend forever. So we wanted to talk about our software that we like, writing programs, our subscriptions that we use, technology gadgets. Anybody want to go first and tell us some of your favorites? Or do we want to kind of go by group? Let's go.
Well, I just have one.
Okay.
Because, I don't know. Again, existential crisis going on over here. I would say my favorite subscription service that I know none of you use is ManyChat. And I moved all my newsletter subscribers over there. I like it because I feel like newsletters, like text messages and Messenger are going to become the next thing. And it provides services for all of that and send your newsletter out. And my open rate and click rate has gone up since I moved over there. I don't know if it's just them or not. I'm trying to consolidate my life better. And so having all of these things in one spot where I can gather somebody's Facebook Messenger information, text messaging information, and email it just is a better thing for me. And I have tried a lot of different mail subscription sites. I've tried ActiveCampaign, which was really expensive and difficult to use. But if you know how to do ActiveCampaign, then ManyChat's not that hard. And then before that, I was with MailChimp. And then I just canceled both those subscriptions and I moved over to ManyChat. So I really like ManyChat. If you're interested in it, there's lots of YouTube videos. You can go look it up. Basically, most everybody has Messenger, Facebook Messenger now, and you get subscribers. You can also do things like catch people who comment on your posts on your Facebook page. So if you have one that kind of goes viral, and you can actually have it where it automatically like suggests that they join your Messenger list. There's lots of Facebook rules for Messenger lists now, like you can't just spam people, but and how it all works. But it basically, you get them into your Messenger list, you get them to give you their phone number, and you can text them. It has the cheapest text message rate that ever, like out of all the text messaging sites, it's the cheapest one. I think it's like a cent for each text message to send. And then you also do the email. And then you try to, it's complicated and long, but basically that's probably the subscription service that I like the most. Just for seeing my opens go up and then being in one spot that can do a lot of things for me. And that's kind of where I need to be. So
did you move your mailing list over to that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can just copy and paste it over and then it opens up there. And then you can send them an email. You can also ask them if they want it. Like if you just have their email, you can send an email and say, hey, I have Facebook Messenger. This is a great way to contact you. Like if you can you have a 24-hour window to get people to message them on Facebook. After that, you have to kind of enter them into that system, which is what you would use like an email or text message for. But when I was using ManyChat a couple of years ago, before they had all these rules and restrictions on how you can get people into your messenger list, when I sent a messenger list like blast out, 100% open rate, and my click-through rate, like that's what got my book to the top 100 really fast. Because people, like, I will ignore I don't even want to show you how many emails that I have unread. Like, I think I'm at like 20,000 plus, like on my phone. I just ignore that now. But if my messenger list has an unread, I have to go and read it. Like, I hate that it's not there. So people are much more into text messages and Facebook Messenger. So I think that's going to kind of be the new way to move. It's also, you can get subscribers through Facebook. Like, Facebook is a huge thing. So especially now that they've come out with like the metaverse or whatever that is. But yeah.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Great. All right. Anybody else who wants to go next? Tell us about something cool.
I can tell you about something cool.
Tell us, Victory. You got the
All right. I have a gadget that I've been using that I love. It's my Remarkable. And I'm taking notes. You can see I wrote down what Amy said about ManyChat. And I will show you, I use this a lot for taking notes in like conference classes and things like that. So I've got my like John Truby's class on story. And all of it's in here. And I take notes like really fast and they're all ugly and stuff, but I hate that. So I made it all pretty. And so the Remarkable, you can like select things and move them around, or you can, like, if you write a word and it's really sloppy, you can hit the undo button and rewrite it or whatever. And so it's the best of note taking in a notebook, because it feels like you're writing on paper a little bit, but it's also digital. And so you can copy and paste things in it. And it's really fun. So I really love it's the Remarkable 2. And they are lowering the price on the Remarkable 2 because they're now doing this cloud service thing with it. So there is a monthly fee if you want the cloud service, but the Remarkable has gone down in price since I bought it. So you can get it a lot cheaper now.
So I'm going to dive in on top of Victorine and say, this is my super note.
Yeah, cool. That looks awesome.
It's technically supposed to be under my Christmas tree, you guys. And I'm going to wait until December 24th and wrap it up just so my kids see me opening a present.
Mhm.
This thing is very similar. So Victor and I are both looking at these e-ink tablets, right? And I have been just researching them for about a year and a half, maybe, or a year at least. And so the last time I was with Victorine, I said, give me your Remarkable, let me try it out. And one of the reasons I decided against the Remarkable is because they did go to that subscription service for a lot of the same things that are still free on other e-ink tablets. So it's like there's a whole big uproar in the e-ink tablet world about it. But honestly, the reason I went with the Supernote is that it has a completely different kind of screen. So the Remarkable is still like a glass screen, like a tablet type feel, and you get that handwriting feeling by the sort of the friction with the nib and sort of like a little sound effect almost that it gives you, right? And I went with the Supernote because it has a self-healing film over a plastic cover, and it's like super, super, super quality plastic. But the self-healing mat with a ceramic nib feels more like a gel pen on paper than like a pencil on paper. And for those of
Cool.
us who like the writing thing, like how you prefer to write is like a big deal. And this feels like a gel pen writing. It's very responsive, very, very quick.
Mhm.
I'm like super, hold on. I'm like super excited about it. See, it's just like, it's like
Super
so
cool.
fun. It feels really, really nice. But the reason I wanted one so badly is that my brain is all over the place. I have like 5 million notebooks, literally 3 planners. I have note cards that I'm always grabbing and scrap paper, and everything's just everywhere. Because every time I try and use any kind of planning or outlining tool or like character dictionary or anything that's online or digital or anything like that, it does not work for me. I can't think. I'm not creative. I abandon it. I never look at it again. But I also need something that allows me to be organized, right? My brain works better with the handwriting thing. But anyways, this will allow me to still feel like I'm writing things, but it's going to all stay in one place with all its folders and templates and fancy things. So anyways,
Nice.
this is my super new exciting thing. Maybe
That's
this is my
awesome.
favorite thing of 2022 since I technically don't get it yet. But anyways.
Nice.
All right. And I have more things, but if anybody else wants to jump in with something.
I have a big long list of things, but one thing I don't know if you guys use it as much that I like is I like to use Trello to organize my books and or like just all my ideas into one place instead of having a bunch of little files everywhere. It kind of keeps them nice and organized, and I'm able to, if I have a idea for a future book, then I just put it in the folder for that future book or ideas for random scenes or whatever. And so that's been nice to organize my series that I've been working on because it's just really interconnected and lots of things to keep track of. And so that's been fun.
What's it called? Trello?
Mm-hmm.
And see,
Trello.
I
Is it an
developed
app?
a severe hate for it during our USA Today bestsellers run.
Yeah, that's when I started using it more.
And it's a group thing. And see, that's so like how one tool is perfect for one person and for another one, nah.
Yeah.
So but that's what I'm saying. Like it's a digital thing. I can't do those kinds of organizational tools online or digital in that way.
Yeah.
So, but I remember you liking it a lot.
Mm-hmm. And you can add like Google Docs to it or just all kinds of things. You can just keep track of all your things. So I guess maybe it's kind of like your special fancy notebooks. So
yes. I wanted to just like I'll go through some of the things on my list really quick and then let you finish yours too. And then we had somebody contact us to want us to look at BookFlow .pub, which is online writing tool. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit more in depth before we get off here. But I really like Canva. I've got the pro subscription for it now because I can use it to make videos if I'm doing reels or TikTok videos or whatever. It makes it super easy for me to make Kindle Vella covers because they don't require any like text, like font work, which I am not the best at. But I can handle a Kindle Vella cover. And all of my graphics, like promo graphics, all my stuff for the writing gals I do on there, like the cute little thumbnail for our thing today I did on Canva. So that's definitely one that I'm going to stick with. I use Scrivener because it's a one-time purchase. And I recently just, this is also my list, switched from a PC to a Mac. So I am still currently using the free trial of the Scrivener for Mac. And it's weird because it is different enough that I'm having to find my way. But I like Scrivener enough that I will purchase it again for the Mac. My process is weird, but I draft in Scrivener and I edit in Microsoft Word and format for ebook in Microsoft Word and then format in Vellum for paperback. And everybody's like, just do your ebook at the same time. I don't know. I probably will at some point, but I can't, like, I just write better in Scrivener because my brain does better with like the compartmentalized writing rather than one long document like Microsoft has. But I do, for some reason, because I've been writing in Microsoft Word for 10 years or more, obviously, I edit there. My brain just turns on to editing mode in Microsoft Word. Does that make any sense to anybody? I don't know, but I've tried editing in other programs and my brain's just like, nah, this is not where you edit. I love Apple Music. I don't know what music streaming service you use. It might be Spotify or something. Mine's Amazon Music because it comes free with my Prime membership. But I love having subscription music available because I can make a million playlists. It wasn't that many years ago that I was having to buy all of my music, and it was kind of pricey. So I love Apple Music, and I consider it to be one of my working tools. And like I said, I have been having trouble with my laptop's webcam and microphone, and for our podcast that was causing problems. So my brother had a used MacBook. He's like a computer guy for a university, so I trust him. And he was just going to upgrade, and he sold it to me for $500. And I was like, well, I can't not do that. Which was very fortunate because like 2 weeks later, my oldest daughter threw a brush across the room trying to get it into a basket and missed and hit my PC and cracked my screen. And so luckily I can still use an HDMI cable and plug it into something else and use it. But anyways, now I am forced to switch over to Mac, which you guys know for the whole time we've been doing this podcast, I've been like, no, I won't go. And when I get on a PC now, I'm like, oh no, I want to be on a Mac. Guys, it hurts my pride so much.
Wait, what did you just say? Say it again.
What was that?
Mac now.
You what?
I prefer a Mac now. Hey. There.
They're so much better. And you don't have to replace them as often, and they work, and they're just amazing.
Okay, so that's one of my favorite tools now is my new MacBook Pro, my new to me MacBook Pro. Book Funnel is a good subscription, not only just for giving away ARCs to your readers, but to be able to participate in some promos. I like Books to Read, which gives you universal links to your books and helps you track people clicking on it. And then before I talk about Atticus and BookFlow, what else do you guys want to talk about?
I want to talk about Plotter. Okay, so I am not a plotter. I'm a pantster. So I don't use Plotter like a plotter would. I use it backwards. So I write my chapter and then I go into Plotter and put stuff in Plotter. So I'm like getting it all organized after the fact. It's been working great for me. So I want to do a little screen share just quickly to show you some of the things that I do. Okay, I didn't practice this. So let's see if I know how to screen share Plotter. Okay, here we go. Okay, can you guys see it? Yay! Okay, so I really like it because you can customize all of this stuff. So if you don't want beats up here, you can change it to chapters or scenes or whatever you want to do. And then I've got my main plot, my romance plot, and then I've got different plots for the different elements in my story. And then I added down here a miscellaneous don't forget that you added this in your story. It's not really a beat, so it doesn't really follow a plot line, but it's something important that I don't want to forget. So I added that in there. And then you can go in and put in whatever you want. And if you're like, oh, this actually isn't another beat, it should fall under here, you can move it around. Or if you're like, oh no, it's actually this guy's plot, So it's really customizable. And I really love it. And then if you want to double click on one of these things, you can add in all your text, your notes for this particular beat. So you're like, okay, there's a bunch of stuff I don't want to forget about that. So I don't know. It's just been really awesome. And customizable in that way.
So like, how would you use that for a series? Could you use that? Like have like a main page with like each book and what goes on there, or like?
Yeah, that's what I would do. Because there's a lot of things in Plotter that I didn't show you that you can do. Can you still see my screen share?
Yeah.
Okay. Like there's a bunch of outlining things you can do, add a bunch of notes.
You said, is there characters? Oh, there you go.
Characters, places, tags. So there's a lot I'm not using it for.
Okay.
And then you can have a bunch of different projects and stuff like that.
So now, is this like when you pay for?
Yes, I bought it. I think it was like $25. And I don't think it's a subscription. I think you just buy it and download it.
Okay.
But if it is a subscription, it was cheap. It was like $20 or $25 a year, so not really much.
Fun. Like,
yeah, really cool. But I use it backwards because I don't plot ahead of time. I tried to use it the way it's supposed to be used, and I just don't think that way because I get in and things change, and I get better ideas. My brain works better for story when I'm actually writing it. What?
Can you upload images?
Good question. I don't know.
Oh. I'll Tareen.
I'm supposed to know everything.
Because I started Airtable after Lori Johnson's talk.
Yes.
I mean, I don't mind it. I like it. I normally, when I'm writing, if I put in a new character, I always put it in the column. And then I'm always like, what book was that in? And what column? And what was that person's name? I need to find a better system, even just to keep track of all of that stuff, because I'm going to be writing very interconnected series next year. And so I'm going to need to keep track much better.
I'm feeling that way too as I'm getting into some of these Kindle Vella stories, especially the fantasy and paranormal ones that are going to be like massive 100+ episode stories.
Right. Yes.
So
I think that's what Plotter would be fantastic for, because you can add as many up and downs as you need. You can add as many across as you need, and move everything around and fit it to where you need it. And
so some of the programs I was going to talk about have somewhat similar availability, like things just not set up the same way. So I have to experiment and see. Judy, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, tons of things.
Tell me.
So I like using a lot of things that Michelle talked about. Scrivener, big love for that. And that's where I do like everything in it. Vellum, I love for formatting. I do ebooks and paperbacks, and I got to see if you can also do hardcovers. I might try getting into those on Amazon. I use MailerLite for my mailing service, and I like that. So far, I can make really pretty emails, which makes me happy. So, but I do need to look into that ManyChat thing, so that sounds good too. I like BookFunnel. I use that a lot for my ARC team. I use certified mail campaigns. I also join a lot of the promos to try to build my list, and that's what sends my reader magnet. I've used StoryOrigin also, but not as many authors in my genre were on there to set like newsletter swaps up with. And that's what I had gotten it for. And so I don't use that as much. So BookFunnel is my favorite, I guess. And I like using the Overdrive app a lot for my audio because I listen to audiobooks. That's how I mostly get all my books in. And that can get pretty pricey if you're buying every single one. So I love using Overdrive. And I just, if I see a book that's really popular on Book Talk or on Goodreads or whatever, I'm like, well, I guess I better listen to that, see why people are loving it so much. And usually I can just put a book on hold, and then when it's ready, then I can just listen to it. I also have my Audible subscription for the ones that you can't get through that because not all of the books are there.
Can I say something really quick? Since you said book talk, I was going through my Amazon keywords and they put book talk, YA book or something. So don't sit on book talk as an Amazon keyword because I would have never even thought about that. So you're adding keyword lists.
You can do that or you can't do that?
No, you can. But I wouldn't, I didn't even think about it. But like as a keyword, book talk, I was like, whoa. And another one was Wattpad, which I had never even used for a keyword either. So
do people search for that in an Amazon search bar though?
Yeah, it was a keyword search term. It was book talk something, but I'm like, that it's such a popular thing now. And when you get to Amazon search, you're like, I don't know how to search for this. So you said that made me think about it. Sorry, I totally interrupted you. Like,
well, that's a good idea though. I'm going to go update all my keywords now.
Yeah, put book talk, man, because book talk is a hot place.
Yeah. Okay, and I also love Kindle Unlimited. It helps so that I can download all these books and not have to buy them and see what other authors are doing and check the back matter, check, all other kinds of things I want to spy on. I can get all the books that I want. And read them too. Don't you worry. I'm not just spying on them. I'll give them some paper.
No, you just download your book and then you return it. You download it again. You're just trying to get your rank to go up.
Did you know they don't let that doesn't work that way?
Yeah, I always buy them. So. Okay. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Okay. I also love Photoshop. I make my covers and I'll also make graphics in there. And also Canva. I love that too because they have all the pretty templates, and then also for making TikTok videos. Sometimes I don't use those as much as I probably should, but I might get back into that a little more. I love using Google Sheets also to keep track of all of the information for my town or my high school, all the teachers, and just try to keep track of all that information for my series. And then Google Forms has been really helpful for doing surveys for my newsletter or setting up my ARC teams for a specific book, having an application for people. So I use that a lot. And then the Notes app on my phone, I'll save all of my hashtags that I'm going to use on my different Instagram posts and just have a bunch of different little groupings of them. And then when I make a post, I'll go and find which grouping I want to add to the bottom of that post. And so that's handy. So I'm not always having to figure them all out and type them again. I also like using Linktree for my link in my Instagram bio because, you only can have one link. And so that's nice to be able to, have them click on the one link and then they can have all these different options of places to go that are connected to you. I like Pro Writing Aid. I got the forever subscription for that a while ago, and I always use that. If I need help with making sure my blurbs are all grammatically correct, because I'm not always good at that, or just after my editor goes through my book, if I'm tweaking things here and there, and oh, I probably just messed up something really bad. So I'll post a little portion in there just to make sure that it's still okay. And I love my MacBook Pro. So that's, Oh, and I also like my my Bluetooth keyboard and mouse. That helps me. And my wrist guards because I got carpal tunnel issues. So I love those things also. I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to talk about, but those are things I use.
Talk about them. Yeah, we'll get into a lot more of those. So that's kind of a good preview for next week. We're going to talk a lot more about those kinds of things next week because I have a bunch of those things too. Before we get off of here, I want to talk about 2 online drafting tools. One of them is Atticus, which is Dave Chesson's new project that he's got going on. I bought that one when it was in beta, and I've been following all of the improvements that they've been doing on it. And I've also been checking out bookflow.pub because they have a free trial too. And so I'm going to start off by saying that the pros to me of having an online drafting tool is that I can pick up and write on it at any time, anywhere, on any device. Like I don't have because I do have a PC and I do have a Mac and I have an iPad and I have an iPhone. I don't have to my Mac stuff can sync pretty good, but not super well. Like I have Microsoft Word and you can get a Scrivener app, but neither one of the apps are very good on my iPhone, right? You can sync with Pages and with your cloud and all this sort of stuff. But for just being able to pick up on the same screen where you were writing before on any device, I really like the online drafting options. They also have a lot of functionality that surprisingly Scrivener doesn't have. Scrivener is supposed to be the beast writing tool, right? But it's really interesting to me that Scrivener has so much stuff, so much capability that isn't actually relatable to what I do as a novelist. And so some of these other things are much more geared towards novelists or people writing books, nonfiction too. So one of the reasons, like Kate mentioned, was I was really interested in Atticus's functionality that they were trying to have with being able to collaborate with multiple people at one time. And I don't know that they've gotten that going. I haven't seen it anywhere, but I know it's in progress. But one of the cons that I've discovered with online drafting, and this is a very personal thing, I don't know if it's going to bother anybody else out there, but there's such limited formatting available on the drafting part of it. So BookFlow it's really just for writing. It's not for publishing. It's just for writing. There's such bare formatting, and they have formatting things that are not attributed, they're not helpful for novelists really necessarily, like bullet points and things like that. But you can't really have tab paragraphs, first lines on your paragraphs. You can upload them and it will stay there now, which they just added in. Before you would upload something and all your indentions would disappear, but you can't put them in. So you can't draft with indentions. You can't double space anything, which seems like 2 pretty basic formatting things for writers. And my brain just cannot. It's kind of like the drafting in Scrivener versus I need to have visual space on the page around my words. If I'm typing and it's just all in one big black block, my brain just scrambles and it gets crazy, and I can't focus on that. So I need to be able to have double spaced paragraphs with the first line indented to be able to draft. Is that weird? I don't know, but neither Atticus or BookFlow has that capability. So to me, it's just kind of how big a deal is that for me? And I kind of think it's a big deal, but there are so many things I love about them. So I'm going to go through and just talk a little bit about BookFlow really fast because we don't have tons of time. But when you open up the home screen, you get this overview of it has all of your projects. And then if you click on a project, it has an overview screen of your project, and it gives you all kinds of really cool data. So you can see not only your word count per scene, because it's like Scrivener where it's broken down into all these building blocks, right? You can see the word count per scene, but it also gives you a bar graph of your word count distribution. So you can see how consistent your word count is. And it's cool. The percentage of your manuscript that's finished is constantly calculated for you. If you put in your word count column, it gives you your total word count for the whole project, of course. It gives you an activity calendar where you can see the days that you were actively working. and it tracks it all for you. So it tells you the days that you worked, but it also, for some reason, tells you the days you were writing, the days you were editing. And I can't figure out, it just figures out, I guess, when you were editing and when you were writing, because I never put any of that data in, but it's there. So it's pretty interesting. When I looked at that compared to Atticus has a way for you to track the days you worked and like your goals and work counts, but it's all pretty much self added in. So like you have to click the box if you worked that day, or you have to type in the number if you did. But BookFlow tracks it all for you, which is good for me because I'm not consistent at tracking anything. Okay, so then from your overview page, it has all these different tabs for scenes, characters, and theme. And you guys know I love theme. So anyways, so then you can go to each of those tabs, and they're really like not obtrusive. They're just at the top of the page. And so you just click on it, and then it has scenes that you can add in like building blocks. And like Victorine, I'm not a plotter, so I'm not going to go in and build like my whole outline, just boom, 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 boom. But if I usually think like a couple ahead, so I can go in and just build a couple ahead, and they're moving pieces, so you can just slide them up and down if you need to move them around, and they renumber themselves automatically, which I think is fabulous. And you can view it in like list view or grid view or like full summary view. It gives you the word count there too, and the last time you worked on it. Then the same thing for characters. The only thing that I don't like about the characters on BookFlow is I wish you could put pictures on, like if you have inspiration pictures. But you can kind of just, you basically have like a notepad, like a screen, and you can type all the stuff in. So if you wanted, you could have like a template of a character Bible that you just paste into each page and build it. And it has a separate, so it has like a summary and then like a notes page. And then it's got this place, or like a working page, and then it has like little note cards you can add on the side. So like if you have your character do something and you're like, oh, I need to remember that they do that, you can just like add a note on their character page, which I find really helpful. And then at any time you can like click to see these things available if you need to check something. It's really easy to move around. In Scrivener, they have like little things built into all the templates where it says like character, and it's just like a page and there's like nothing there. So I've never actually made myself use it. But on BookFlow, I found myself actively using it. And then with theme, it is, I like that there's a tool for it where you have like, because it shows you like the summary and overview and graphs and all kinds of things for all of these different things. But with theme, you can put in the title of the theme or the name of your theme, and then it encourages you to select a type of theme, which is like your big idea theme or marketing. So like if it's something, part of your story that you're going to use or bring out with your marketing, then you can like really, it helps you just plan and think about it, the symbols and motifs you're going to use, all that stuff, and then like write about the theme. So I love any product that is like, here, theme is important, we're going to help you like make a big deal out of it. And then it's just one of those things that makes sense for writers who are needing to work out those things and have those things. I really like the visuals of it. It looks nice. It looks nicer to me than Atticus personally. You can copy a project. You can do focus mode. So like you can click the little full screen thing and it takes it full screen, and like all the stuff on the side just disappears like it does on Scrivener. That's always nice. That's a new thing they've added. It has a little timer that you can time, like if you're doing sprints. And I saw Atticus is adding a timer, but they don't have it yet. The one thing that's kind of, so they also have word prompts, like writing prompts to warm up. Every day you can choose to do it. And they have articles about writing and stuff. For me, like that's not something that I personally would use. But if you're a new writer or you do warm-ups anyways, that would be helpful. It's right there. I would say one of the critiques I have is on the character, scene, and theme pages. They have like on the sidebar all these articles that teach you like what those are or things you need to think about, like different beats and all that sort of stuff. And I can see how it's really helpful for new writers, but for seasoned writers, it's not something that I'm going to be looking at. It's just kind of clutter on the page. So I wish there was a way to kind of close it out. If you're not, like, it's not really obtrusive. It's just like the title of whatever like teaching tool that is, and you can click to bring it up. But I wish you could just like close the whole like help bar out. The thing with Atticus versus Bookflow, to me, I think I like Atticus better as a user, and then Bookflow better as a user, but Atticus then also has the whole formatting thing. So once you have written, all you do is click to the tab, and all of a sudden you're formatting to publish. And they've got like a million different like styles and things like that they're constantly adding to it. I like that Dave is constantly updating what is available. I think both of them are listening to their users and adding things, but you're never going to get that formatting to publish Bookflow that you have on Atticus.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest thing for me too is the price, because Atticus now is listed as being $147 for a one-time subscription, which is cheaper by $100 than Vellum. So for $100 less, you get the formatting with more style options, plus you get the drafting tools.
Vellum just updated their styles, though. They got a lot of those now.
Did they? Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. I was thinking that they were going to have to stay competitive.
Yeah,
like,
they're going to have to.
And they were having like a sale too. I don't know if it's still going on. But
they're like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm sure they're like, we got to stay in this somehow. But Bookflow it's $15 a month subscription, or like $144 for a year. So you get like $12 per month if you do the year. So you're paying the same price for a full year of just the drafting without any of the publishing thing. So I guess I would like to tell Bookflow, if I was to give feedback, but I really like what they have going on. I'm very enthusiastic about a lot of their tools and the way it looks. And I like their project overview pages 100 times better than Atticus, but it's just not having the same price point for half of the capability.
Yeah.
By not being able to do the formatting thing. If you're trying to decide between the two, that would be a deal breaker, I think, for a lot of people. But you know what? I don't know. We'll see what I think of going forward, because I still have some time on my free trial with Bookflow, and I have a project going in there. And I have not successfully really gotten into a project, like gotten one up and going where I click onto Atticus every day yet. So. Yeah. Isn't that kind of an interesting thing, how our brains just like, oh, this works for me. This is my happy place.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I totally get that.
Yeah. We like the comfort of the familiar.
Mm-hmm. I like trying new things and seeing, like, is this the thing for me? So I spent a lot of time this year. I kind of checked out Dabble a little bit too, because I kept hearing people really raving about Dabble, but I think it was better than Scrivener in a lot of ways too, but I don't know. I'm still sticking with Scrivener though.
Scrivener you can track your it shows like your writing history also if you look, and then it has you can track your word count and see how far you are. I love those things.
Yeah, I think the reason I keep going back to Scrivener is that I already have my templates built for my stories, and I can coordinate, like I can like color the labels, and I can customize so many different things. But I also don't like Scrivener because I know it has so much that it can do that I don't know how to do. Mm-hmm. So it's also kind of intimidating, and these are really user friendly. So
I really wanted to like Scrivener. I forced myself to write an entire book in it because I bought it, and at the very end I copied and pasted it into Word to do my editing. So
I do too.
I just couldn't do it.
I love Scrivener. I have no complaints. I don't use very many of the special things. I just basically write, and that's it. But
I just want to marry my favorite things from all of the different.
Right. Yes.
Like I'll take this from here and this from here and this from here. So it really just comes down. Like I would suggest to all of you, if you're trying to look for your writing home, like what works for you, I would try. Most of these places have a free trial.
Yeah.
That you can check them out. and try for yourself. And you're really not going to know until you like get your hands on the keyboard and start putting your story in there and trying to guess, like, or trying to actually see how it works for you. I think they're all good values, especially for professional writers. I mean, spending $12 a month, if that was the only thing you wrote on, you know, and that if it was functional for you and that worked for you, it made you feel productive, I would not say that that was too much money at all. I would say it's a good value. If you're also like just wanting to also be able to format to publish though. So I would not be a good product reviewer, guys.
Me neither. I don't try anything else. You always try all these new things.
Yeah,
like,
thank you for trying book flow, because I wanted to. I wanted to try it. I just didn't have time.
I got coughs going on. So
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, guys. We had a couple other questions about Kindle Vella, but we don't really have time to talk about it today. But we've talked about it in other podcasts. And then there are also a lot of Kindle Vella Facebook groups that are extremely helpful. And you can always go into the Kindle the Kindle forums on kdp.com. They have a whole section for Kindle Vella where you can go on, and they are really responsive about answering questions there. So you can find a lot of information on the Kindle Vella pages, on the KDP community page, and in our other podcasts and Facebook groups. So you may see anything we needed to talk about. Somebody told Christina bookflow.pub. And Atticus is like app.atticus.io, but I don't know if that's only if you're a subscriber, but just look for Atticus writing program or something by Dave Chesson. All right, guys. Next week is going to be even more fun because there's nothing that makes writers happier than talking about like pens and planners and things like that. So, come back next week. Hopefully, my cough will be gone. And we're going to look forward to our last podcast of 2021 being about our goals for 2022. And we're all going to try and get our act together and figure out what those are by that podcast, which I think is on the 29th. Is that right? So you guys, the 30th.
30th, yeah.
The 30th. So we'll be back on the 16th and the 30th this month. You're not going to want to miss either of those podcasts, I promise you. Thanks for joining us live today, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.